understanding your significant other's job is pretty important too. So,
Hi guys, karibu sana to our YouTube channel and thank you for stopping by. I am Miss PJ and today we are going to be talking about communicating in long distance relationship. So let's get into it.
yeah, so for those of you who this is your first time seeing me, yeah, this is what I look like. I did this to myself. I am Ethan, and yeah, we're gonna talk about communication in this one. So, I think the biggest thing that came up immediately, at least, was there was a bit of a language barrier. So I spoke a form of English that this one did not learn at all, and and not to mention being somebody who speaks English in a regular setting, I spoke pretty quickly for
Yeah, I will be like, huh? Pardon? What did you say?
her. Yeah, that was a solid one. Like 2/3 of our relationship was just me repeating myself at
Yeah,
the
that
very
was like I
beginning.
think the first how many months?
Oh, for the first at least five, you started catching on pretty quickly though.
Yeah, because
Hmm.
his English like well, I couldn't understand.
Yeah, and
He was talking so fast for me. Yeah, I know English, but and you guys might know English, but
and that's another thing is if you have a language barrier, start small. Like speak sixth grade English. I mean, just because she's very fluent in English, she can speak English and get around very well in English. But and I have the feeling when she comes to America, she's not going to have a problem. But she right at the beginning, it's kind of a lot. So if you speak pretty, if you speak pretty quick, try to keep it simple. And America, talking about America and Kenya, that's actually a pretty good segue into this
yeah, so that you don't have to hear a lot of what did
time
you say?
zones. Time zones.
Pardon? Okay.
Time zones.
Okay, yeah, I'm going that into too much. Okay, so the
Yeah.
next guys we're gonna talk about is understanding time zones.
Mhm.
Yeah, so guys, we live in different time zones. Like a 9 hour.
9 hour
Yeah,
for 9 months of the year and 10 hours
yeah,
for three, or something like that.
yeah. So
Because
basically, when
Colorado's in the
he's
time.
sleeping, I'm awake. And when I'm about to go to sleep, that's when he gets up.
It's 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 pretty rough. So Colorado's in the wrong time zone.
What
Uh,
wrong time zone?
no, 8 months out of the year we're in the wrong time zone. We move the clocks forward an hour in America for no reason whatsoever. So
I didn't know
it's
that.
9 or 10 hours. Right now it's actually 10 hours. So we oftentimes communicating is kind of really difficult, but you have to understand the time frames that are there. And another thing is you have to also understand what your significant other does for work. So yes, so that, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, so different time zone actually is a like more of like you just have to know the time difference that you guys have.
For the most part, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's all it is. And then understanding your significant other's job is pretty important too. So, for example, my work in the U.S., I work Monday through Friday, and I started work at 6:30 and got off of work at 5:30 and had a 30-minute lunch. So when when I would go to work, sometimes it was actually kind of difficult to communicate during those time frames, due to the fact that her being 9 time zones ahead of me, morning would actually be the easiest time for us to talk. For me, for her, it would probably be evening.
Yeah, because at morning, guys, I have to wake up and start getting ready for work so I don't get late. And that's when maybe Ethan is free and he wants to call. And I can't do that because I can't multitask. Like, well, yeah, I can get ready and talk to him, but I will like slow down. And I'm not a morning person. I don't like usually wake up very early to get ready.
Yeah.
I just wake up a time that I know I'm gonna get ready by this time. I'm gonna get to work by this time.
Well, and that's when understanding the significant other's jobs and time
Yeah.
zones pretty important, because if you're going to bed late on a night as well, she might not be busy yet. So you can call her. She was up most of the time, 6:30 a.m. your time.
Yeah, I was
Um,
up but by 5:30 because I had to prepare my
mhm.
sibling to school.
Yeah. So if I saw that it was like 9 o'clock, um, sometimes I'd call her before I went to bed, and usually that was okay.
Yeah.
And then the
Oh,
best time for me to call though was when I was driving on my
yeah.
way to work. Yeah.
Because you had a long drive, like when you're walking out of town, like you
Mhm.
had a long drive, like sometimes a 30 minutes or 1 hour, and that time is when I'm getting off from work, or maybe I'm in a break, and
Mhm.
which is cool.
Yeah, wake up at 1 in the morning, and I know that if I drove for an hour, I could call her. So
Yeah.
there are ways you can find time to communicate.
Yeah, so let
So
nobody tell you that, oh, they don't have time to communicate with you. They're
yeah,
lying.
if people during World War I could write letters to
Uh-huh.
their significant other in the trenches, they can send a 5-minute text.
And you know what surprises me? Like in this modern world, if someone just doesn't want to talk to you, they say, "Oh, I'm so busy." Oh,
Mhm,
if he or she truly loves you, they'll make time for you guys. Just
mhm.
know that.
Yep.
Yeah, time, that is no excuse. As long
And
as you guys understand each other's work,
mhm.
understand each other's time range, you're good to go.
And that actually leads to our next point. Do you need to talk or call every day?
Oh,
I say that depends on the
well,
relationship. I mean, for us, you do like at the very least somebody who texts you. There are some people who might be different about that, but I do prefer to just I you're always going to get a text message. You got a text message pretty much every day.
yeah, and
And if
about
eh,
that, like talking frequently, well, I think for me, as long as I know how you're doing in the morning, how you're doing during the day, or maybe
mhm,
at night, well, that's good for me. I don't have to be on the phone with you like all the time. Like, no, I just need to call you. Well,
mhm,
I understand that you're working and you
mhm,
don't have like all those free times like me.
mhm.
So yeah, in
Well,
Kenya we have a lot of breaks. Like,
yeah,
mhm,
but as far as this goes,
mhm.
definitely find time to text your significant other.
Yeah,
Um,
text is the
and
most important.
you don't even need to text like all day. Just find time for 3 text messages. I'm sure you have,
It's
no
just
matter where you work, no matter how busy you are. I'm sure you have time before your work where you're getting ready for work. It takes maybe 30 seconds to say, "Hey, good morning. I was thinking of you." Send.
so
You
that
know,
will make your
and
significant
then
other so happy.
lunchtime. Hey, just wanted to tell you I'm on my lunch. Don't have a lot of time on my lunch, unfortunately, nor a lot of reception, whatever the reason you're not calling is. And just wanted to say, hey, hope you have a great day. Hey, I know you're probably asleep, but I'm getting off of work. Just find 3 times, or maybe right before you go to bed, or maybe right after dinner, or something.
Yeah.
Find just times to make sure you send that message. Now,
Yeah,
I'm not saying don't call at all, but you need to at least send a "Hey, I thought about you" text.
yeah, because you guys are in long distance relationship. We're actually talking about long distance relationship, and
Mm,
your significant other needs to know that you're thinking about them. They
mhm.
need to know that you still love them. They need that
Yeah.
reassurance.
So, um, one thing, another thing to kind of think about when you are communicating in a long distance relationship is whether or not your significant other has access to internet or data. Chances are you're not using your regular means of calling if you're American. I don't know if you guys use internet to call each other. You don't.
No,
You usually use
no
like,
we use credit.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
we have data and we have credit like
yeah,
in Kenya. Yeah.
yeah. So, um, for one thing to consider is whether or not your significant other has access to internet or data. So, when it comes to Colorado, if you're living near Denver, you probably don't have to worry about this. Denver, Colorado Springs, you don't need to worry about this too much. But when it comes to Colorado, around where I live, which is pretty close to Montrose, you're gonna have trouble. You're gonna have trouble communicating because you're not always going to have access to 5G, nor are you going to have access to 4G in a lot of these locations. Like for example, that time when I was in Silt,
Yeah.
could not communicate with her at all. Only my normal means of calling worked um, out in Silt, which means I did not have the data to talk over the internet. So
Yeah, And sometimes when I'm here, like when we're talking and I'm
Mhm.
walking, I could pass by a place where there's no strong internet connection, and then we could have like a breakdown in communication,
Mhm.
and we can't understand each other. So I think what you need to do here is just set a time, or
I
not
wouldn't really set a
really.
time. Actually, just most of the time, I'd say just kind of keep in mind that you're not going to have internet or data all the time. You can still find time for those three texts because they'll send as soon as you hit 4G over in Rifle. I want to say is the next town with 4G if you're in Silt. So um, yeah, so it'll you need to make sure you send that message. Um, well, I know internet and data is pretty important. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all the major issues that like those were the five biggest roadblocks that we seemed to come up against, other
Yeah.
than the language barrier. Or I guess that was kind of like an Easter egg six. But when your relationship may be different, maybe you're not in a different time zone and you're looking for some other kind of advice. What did we miss? Let us know.
Comment down below. Yeah, so guys, that is the end of our video today. I hope you learned something from it. We're not teachers, but so comment down below what was or what is your communication challenge in the comment section, and yeah, we'd like to know and share about it. Thank you for watching this video till the end. For my subscribers, thank you for your love and support, and my new subscribers, thank you for subscribing. If you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, please, what are you waiting for? Just click the subscription button right now and let's grow.